buddy? You getting the milk? All right. Hi, buttercup. Sweet angel. Friends, there is sun in my eyes, so I can't see you as much as you can see me, but I do love you and I cherish you. I'm thankful for you. I appreciate you being here through this journey. And then for a while, our RV was our home and you guys saw us coming here. And then it was, we're trying to establish a garden, and we established a beautiful garden. And now that season is transitioning into how do we get all of the animals together, which is what we're heading into now. It's like a mini farm. It's a homestead with a lot of animals. I am not an expert. Alex, are you an expert? No. Sean, are you an expert?
Yes.
Yes. So community is the way to grow healthy. We've taught you guys that through infertility struggles, which is continually part of our process and our story. But we've been showing you for years how to merge the actual health of what a garden can do for your system and your body and your family and your focus, and how do we become healthier so that our infertility struggles can diminish, can become easier. How can we build our families healthier? How can we build our bodies back up and regenerate what was built by God to be something that is sustainable, that is strong, that is effective, that is able to then live and breathe and then reproduce, not just bearing children or building family, but reproduce our energy of our consumables that are as healthy as possible so that we can have the most energy, so that we can love bigger, love better, live stronger for one another in community. That's the whole ecosystem that we're trying to build here on our small 5+ acres. And we got to a point where we said, okay, we've built this really quickly. It is really effective. We have lots of eggs. We give and donate 8 to 10 dozen eggs a week away. We give venison away to family and friends and neighbors and people that we hear are hungry. We are doing the things and giving ourselves and our vegetables and our animals to people that are in need. That's who we are. But we have come to a point, like a breaking point, where we say we can no longer get to the next step without an expert. And that's why we brought in Sean. Sean, we met him 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Like not even that long ago.
Yeah.
And we have very quickly become great friends with him. He went to school, college, big degrees, fancy letter words, all that stuff for regenerative agriculture and sustainability and permaculture. I am so grateful to have someone that can say, here's actually how to take the animals and make your land in the midst of a huge drought. How do we work this system next year for years to come so that we can do less work, but the animals do more work for us? Yeah. I am just realizing you weren't really in camera the whole time, and I'm very sorry. Right. But because I think what he brings to the YouTube community, to the online micro farming homestead community is massive. His wealth of knowledge, he just walked around our property with us and sat and had lunch with us. And my brain is exploding with, oh, that makes sense. All the ideas that he's bringing to us of fixes make so much sense to me. And I go, why couldn't I think of that? Oh, wait, I'm not the professional.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. My background is ecology.
Yeah.
Grew up outdoors, loved everything outdoors, and so I studied ecology in college, got my master's, and was doing environmental science and didn't feel a lot of fulfillment there. I was helping do residential development, oil and gas exploration, and was like, I feel like I'm putting a Band-Aid on what I sought to fix versus like the healing it to begin with.
Right.
And so I started getting into sustainable agriculture towards the end of finishing college, and just like, we had this tiny little house and we filled the backyard up with a garden. I had quail growing in the garage. We had like every sort of like, we were those people in the neighborhood, all that sort of thing. And really ignited the passion for growing food. And my wife, her business is Mindful Kitchen. She's a nutritionist. And so I guess she was pursuing traditional health and how eating traditionally heals your body.
Right.
I was pursuing traditional agriculture, and we like met in the middle of that. Like, oh man, like this is the same thing.
Yes.
Growing food well means it's more nutritious, which means
Yes.
our bodies are healed. I worked with different farms. We moved to Houston. I started a beekeeping business about 10 years ago.
Boy, that is story in itself was fascinating to hear last night.
Then we moved to Arkansas and took a job with a large nonprofit to work with farmers on the business development, production planning, and so I got to travel around the state and see 40 different farms doing things 40 different ways and learn from them, and also like help them along the way on some of the business side of things. And that just grew my my knowledge base really fast, to just see how people do it so many different ways and getting that experience quickly. And then I managed an organic vegetable farm for that company for 5 years.
Wow.
And we produced vegetables.
How big was that farm?
So it's 3 acres, and we did about 100,000 pounds of vegetables on that 3 acres with 4 people, and doing like broad forks, no tillers.
Okay, hold on. 3 acres, 100,000 pounds of vegetables
Yeah,
with 4 people.
yeah, about 200,000 in revenue. For
200,000 US dollars.
US dollars in wholesale. So if we were doing direct to consumer, which would obviously be more work, you'd have to go to a farmer's market, do a
Wow.
CSA, but that'd be 300,000.
So
400,000.
we here, our 2,000 square foot garden, which is massive if by comparison to the average gardener, with a small amount of space, with the right process and the right grouping of techniques, basically have a functional system for going out and doing farmers markets, or just growing all of your food.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And that's where it starts, is building the plan. Getting that plan on the front end of what are my goals, like whether someone's growing for market or they're going for their family, like what do I want life to look like? How much time do I want to spend in the garden? What do we want to grow? How much money do we want to invest in the space? And then what is our land capable of producing?
Yeah.
And then doing a production plan around that, and then growing from there. Proactive versus reactionary is like a big shift for folks.
And I think there's truthfully, we're being a bit reactive by saying, Sean, we need you to come down here. So Sean consults with families and farmers, and like big, from absolutely massive family farms, which I cannot name, that names of, to small little homesteads. I think it's fascinating that the principles that we're learning, that we have been learning, that we've been passionate about, which is growing growing better food than we could find in the grocery store, is our passion.
Yeah.
But then having animals that work that whole process with us so that we don't have to do all the work, that is also our passion, because there's only so many hours in the day, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to be able to figure out what that system looks like on a small plot of land. But for your ability to then take it from the wealthiest, biggest families and farms in the world down to the small backyard gardener, I'm mesmerized, because when I sit down and I talk with Sean just off camera, I'm like asking him a million questions, and I'm just rambling because I have billions of questions to go, okay, so we've done this and we've dabbled and we've watched, Alex, truthfully, has watched so many educational resources out there that are free and available on YouTube. And then she's bought courses from a lot of some of the upcoming generation of experts, and she's put forth so much time and energy into how do we do this. But we've plateaued. Like, this garden right now is better than it has ever been, but we've plateaued in the sense where we say we don't know how to take it. What are you doing?
I want to. Yeah, you don't.
That's a sweet cat to let you do that.
Yeah,
That was Brownie.
that is Brownie.
I was a Brownie in Mom's garden.
Yeah, getting her out of Mama's garden.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Mama.
And that's why this is a vlog and not just to sit down.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting back on track, we've plateaued to a degree to where we go, okay, we don't necessarily need more garden space, but how do we maximize and how do we build a plan forward that allows us to graze our animals better, to utilize the land better? Our garden still flourished without the rain in a way that I think is absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
But then our land also is suffering, and so how do we bring the animals in together so that they cost less to maintain but still produce the same abundance? And I think you've figured that out on small plots and massive plots. And I think that's like amazing. Like kudos to you, because I don't have a farming background. Most people that are dabbling in gardening don't. Like, they just want to grow healthy food.
Yeah.
And so then my big question to you would be, how does Mindful Farmer, the company, the vision, the direction that you're going, like, how does that step in and fill the need of the people that are just going, okay, so I know where I want to be.
Yeah.
I know vaguely how to get there. I grow food. I know that I can buy seeds at the store and put those into the ground, but then what else do I have to do in order to do that? And you talk a lot about soil. You talk a lot about regenerative agriculture. How does the most baseline, like, how does Mindful Farmer step in and fill that need and that void of, I know where I want to go and I know what I want to do, but how do I get there?
Yeah. So, you know, the challenge to me when we started from a pasture to build that market garden.
Yeah.
So it was building a farm from scratch, and then had these goals of getting this profitable farm ready, and also be a teaching and demonstration farm for new and beginning farmers. What I've learned as a professional market gardener and a farmer, whatever you want to call it, there's so many tools and techniques that can be appropriately scaled to the homesteader, the advanced gardener, and the home gardener.
Yeah.
That would just dramatically increase the productivity and decrease the work.
Yeah.
And so Mindful Farmer, I left that farm in order to start the company we're building greenhouses that are appropriately sized for homesteaders. We're doing tools that are
like this broad fork right here.
To the market.
We're actually going to today sample out the broad fork that it took us like a year to find once we finally got here, because we knew that we didn't want to do no-till. It took us like a really, really long time to find this thing. It was 2.5 hours away for that broad fork, and it's great, but is there a better option? And you've actually brought a different option for us to test out, so I'm super excited about that tool.
Yeah. And so we have the tools, and then I also do training. So we have courses, and then the consulting. We believe God made all these creatures for really intentional purposes that interact in beautiful ways to make more life.
Yep.
And so that's what we're going to do with the animals, is like when we combine the animal groups, they all have these different services that they're doing and like providing for each other. You know, that the cow's making the grass healthier, the chicken is spreading the cow manure to feed the grass for the cow, and then also eating the bugs out of the manure, so the cow has less pests. Like, they all work in this beautiful concert with each other. And that's like doing the no-till, is you're feeding the soil, and this symphony of biology is happening underground that's feeding your plants, and the plants feed the soil. And
I want to be a mindful farmer. I want to be a disciple of what he's learned, so that I can then disciple and share it with you. I disciple people through the Word of God. I disciple people through faith and hope and love and joy and the things that I have grown to learn. And I want you guys, and you guys have known this for years, that's what our platform is about, is how to go out and let your love multiply, and how to go out and take what we've given you and share it with others. And you guys have done that, and we've met you in the droves through the years. How do we then be a disciple of getting this whole biblical ecosystem back in place, from a small farm to a big farm? And I'm so thankful, and I don't know it all yet, but I want to get back to
this has been a lifetime.
We're all going to continue to learn, right?
Yeah.
And leaders are learners, and when you stop learning, you stop leading. You can't lead people if the knowledge that you have is yesteryear. You have to continue progressing in a way that maintains that balance and order. And so ultimately, my encouragement to you guys is, if you guys are learning to homestead, if you guys are learning to get this stuff in order, go check out Sean's stuff at Mindful Farmer. I'll leave some links below. Contact him if you guys are like serious about this and you guys would like him to consult with you. He's not paying me to say this. I am literally saying I believe in my heart that his method and learning and stuff, and it's not just him. There's tons of people now in the homesteading space that have this right. Like, they actually, it's working, where the animals and the land is working together, and the humans are working without big machinery. And I think when we stepped out of line and went to, dare I say, monocrop, which is a single crop on a lot of land, we started killing the soil. When we took animals off that land and stopped having animals with the crops, we started killing the soil. our world is experiencing devastating repercussions of not living in an order and balance that God intended in the Garden of Eden for us to have.
And out of the baseline of that is an extractive approach.
Tell me more.
Like Adam and Eve, like the original sin is defining good for them and evil for themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, I want this thing.
Yeah.
And like when we approach agriculture, like how much can I get out of this?
Yes.
It's an extractive approach. I'm pulling what I need out of that, and then you start to degrade things, and you have all these natural.
Yes.
The soil erodes away. The animals get sick. The crops are devastated because they're all monoculture.
Yes.
But if it's, like a great cattle farmer will say, I don't grow cattle, I grow grass. They're investing in the grass, and that makes great cattle.
Yep.
And so for us as gardeners, it's like, I'm not just trying to get as much produce out. I know I talk about productivity and like yields, but like I want to be putting in more.
Yes. More input
than I'm getting out.
Yes.
And so,
show me productivity. We want to see productivity. Yeah, dude, Sean, that's exactly it. And we're trying to put back into the soil, put back into the earth, and put back into our lives the things that actually are healthy, which is animals and plants and living creatures and people working in harmony together so that we can be and live not an easier life, but a more abundant life. I've been studying and learning and reading about how can Alex and I help you with the infertility through the garden. We are on the edge of something I think pretty groundbreaking, and with your prayers and support, I think we can get there. Are these your potatoes? Are we harvesting your potatoes right now? You crushed it. That's beautiful.
And you watered in when? May?
The last time we watered was May.
No, we didn't water these.
No, we didn't water these at all.
I just put these in, spruced out, never watered,
And look
never
at
did
that soil.
We never watered these potatoes, and we're now in mid-October harvesting these. Wow. You guys, when we go by God's plan, things are more effective, things are more successful, things are easier, even though that's not the ultimate goal. Our struggles will cause us to find new wisdom, to find learning, to grow. That's the area right there that I tried to pull, and I said we had no potatoes. Look at that. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. I could talk about this for days on end, but I do want to just encourage you to go and check out Sean's stuff. If absolutely nothing else, and if you have no passion and no desire to grow a garden or do the animals or anything like that, I just encourage you to find new ways today to become healthier. That maybe that's an eating thing, maybe that's an exercise thing, maybe that's a spiritual thing, getting back into church, finding community. Maybe that's, I don't know, working with people to pause and eventually prolong and quit addictions. Whatever it may be that you're unbalanced in, I want to help you be encouraged today that you can do it. I never thought that Sean would ever be here at our farm. Like, that's a dream come true for me. To find someone that knows what they're talking about, that can actually point us and say, move the animals there, have all the animals together. And I'm like, what? Put your water there. This is how to hose it. This is how to, and I'm going, okay, I thought we knew some of this, and now we're learning, and it's a growth process. I hope that encourages you. I hope that you find something out of this one take vlog that is a blessing to you and to your future generations. We're doing this life in trying to find unity and balance and order in God's ways so that the next generations are actually the ones that are blessed. When you can find a purpose where you are pushing towards something that will outlast you and outlive you, that is how you find your calling. And for us, it's to help the people that have struggled to start a family, struggled to find health, struggled to find balance and order. We are passionate about helping them and you find that balance, find that order, remove that chaos, simplify your life. And then, if you want to, adding a couple chickens, adding some vegetables, growing your food, learning how to, in the midst of a drought season, they are doing all the work for me. And I'm going to turn the camera off so I can do it. But Alex, you're a rock star. Learning how to grow your grocery store without having to water it. That answer is no-till. It is effective. We never watered these potatoes that we're harvesting now, and it's October with an 8-week drought. You guys, it is absolutely possible. If we can city folk do it, you can too. Also a half sermon.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Okay, look at these.
Alex, you killed it.
Good job, babe.
I'm so thankful when you said, we don't have any potatoes.
I went to that first batch and there was very few, but there's a froggy.
Yeah, those two first little beds didn't have much. Over here, this one.
Yeah, show me.
This is one sweet potato slip.
What?
That was from one plant.
Where did the slips come from?
The
wait.
grocery store. I made
You
them.
grew them. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I made them.
Do you have that picture? I think we have a picture of you growing them in a ball jar.
Yep.
You're saying this food, that food, came from you taking a potato in the grocery store and putting it in a ball jar with
Yeah.
water, growing roots, and then planting it.
It was organic. It was an organic purple sweet potato. I got $6 a sweet potato.
And you grew.
And I grew a lot more than that.
Yeah. Is she riding you, Chloe?
They struggled though, so I don't think each plant took at all.
Be gentle with her. She loves you.
Kind of like use your body weight to pull it backwards.
Yeah.
So you're not using your shoulders and back so much.
Sean, really quick, why are we broad forking?
So broad forking is a way of reversing compaction. It
Compaction is soil.
lifts when soil is pressed down. So like
Rain does that.
rain does it, feet do it, tractors do it, cows do it.
Whoa.
So you're saying Sean's broad fork works a lot better than our current one? Is it easier for you, my little 125-pound woman?
And just take a step backwards. Like kind of rest your hips. There you go.
Okay, no, like we very much really did not have an intention to push you all to the broad fork today. But guys, if I can do this,
Yeah.
this one I have to try to puncture through
By jumping on it.
by jumping on it.
Yeah, it's an investment,
I'm on a
but it's a must-do if you're going to go no-till.
Yeah. So
So it's just, it gets the air in down into the soil.
and your compost. So like Phil was saying, this is super clay, and
Right.
y'all put the compost on top of it. So now you're cracking the soil open, and the compost is falling into those channels.
Right.
So then you're getting compost
Because we were
6,
only
10
paying,
inches down into the soil.
yeah, we were only paying for like 4 inches of compost, which is still, some people can only like really, when you break down the cost, they can only do like 1 inch of compost.
Yeah.
And
And they don't have cows where they get poop, where we can make our own compost from now on. Yeah.
this is nicer.
And then I try to like there to be as few tools as possible, right? To make it as efficient, you can just walk down the garden with 2 or 3 things. And so like this tool too, like one of the advantages of the T-handles, like you're not only having to not reposition your hands,
Right.
but then you can also carry it like with other stuff.
Shoulder. Yeah.
And then I space the teeth every 6 inches.
Yeah.
So like once you have your soil worked, then you just drag it backwards.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And so now you've smoothed out the bed.
Whoa!
The rows on 6-inch spacing, so now you can just plant. So it's a broad fork, it's a rake.
That's not going home with you. We're buying that from you.
All right. But even like filling that rock, you can just kind of
Go around
move
it.
around so you go around it.
Even if I try to rock this one,
I have no problem doing that, but I weigh twice as much as you.
Yeah.
it's not going through. There it is, finally.
You're light as a feather, and adorable and beautiful and gorgeous, and such a hard worker.
Oh, you're trying to
I am talking about you, Sean.
That's where you go.
Oh yeah, you really do go deeper when you push it forward. Wow. Yeah, sit. Ready?